One of the most powerful truths you must understand in life is this: your journey is yours and yours alone. No one has walked your path, lived your experiences, fought your battles, or carried your dreams. And because of that, no one's timeline, pace, or definition of success will ever truly match your own. Yet most people spend their entire lives trapped in the shadow of comparison. They look at someone else's chapter 20 and feel ashamed of being on chapter 3. They see another person's harvest and doubt the worth of their own seed. But here is the reality: you cannot compare two journeys that were never meant to be the same. Every oak tree begins as a tiny acorn. It spends years hidden beneath the soil, drawing strength from darkness before it ever breaks through the surface. Meanwhile, the wildflower nearby may bloom in a single season. But would you ever call the oak a failure because it took longer? Of course not, because its destiny is different. It was not meant to bloom quickly. It was meant to stand tall and endure storms that the wildflower never could. Your life is no different. The reason your progress feels slow is not because you are behind. It is because your mission, your purpose, and your growth are designed differently. The moment you accept that your path is unique, you free yourself from the prison of comparison and step into the power of patience. Think of it this way: every second you spend measuring your worth against someone else's is a second stolen from your own progress. When you focus on their story, you stop writing your own. And the tragedy is this: many people give up on their dreams not because they lack the potential to achieve them, but because they believe someone else was too far ahead. But here is a timeless principle: progress is not measured by speed. It is measured by direction. If you are moving forward, even if it is one small step at a time, you are winning, you are growing. And growth, no matter how slow, always compounds. The seed that breaks the soil after years of waiting grows roots deep enough to weather any storm. That is the reward of patience. It's also important to remember that the image you compare yourself to is often incomplete. You see someone else's success, but you do not see their sleepless nights. You see their rewards, but not their sacrifices. And while you're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel, they may be looking at you and wishing they had your strength, your resilience, or your courage. So stop measuring your value with another person's yardstick. Your story is not supposed to look like theirs. It is supposed to look like yours. Your path is being written line by line, choice by choice, day by day. And every challenge, every delay, every detour is not a setback, but a step forward in disguise. The oak tree does not envy the flower. It knows its destiny is not to bloom for a season, but to stand for generations. And you, too, were not born for a fleeting moment of recognition. You were born for lasting impact. That takes time. That requires trust. And that demands you honor the pace of your journey. So walk your path with faith. Celebrate your small steps. And whenever the urge to compare arises, remind yourself, I am not behind, I'm not ahead. I am exactly where I need to be to become who I am meant to become. Your journey is yours alone. Cherish it. Trust it. And never trade it for someone else's. One of the most dangerous habits a person can develop is the habit of comparison. It may seem harmless at first. A passing thought, a glance at someone else's achievements, a quick judgment about your own progress. But over time, it builds invisible walls around your potential. And those walls grow stronger every time you allow comparison to take root in your mind. Here's a fundamental truth: you cannot rise to your highest potential while constantly measuring yourself against someone else. The human mind is capable of extraordinary things, but it cannot focus on creating and competing at the same time. The more you obsess over what someone else is doing, the less energy you have to build something of your own. Comparison doesn't push you forward. It pulls you away from your purpose. Think about it: every person you admire, every success story you see, became great not by trying to outdo someone else, but by trying to outdo the person they were yesterday. They directed their energy inward, refining their skills, sharpening their discipline, and deepening their vision. That is the real secret to growth: internal competition, not external comparison. When you chase someone else's path, you start building limits around yourself. You say, they've done it better, so I'll never catch up. You convince yourself that your dreams are too far away, that your abilities are too small. And slowly, without even realizing it, you stop dreaming as big as you once did. You shrink your vision to match what you think is possible instead of expanding it to match what you're truly capable of. This is why comparison is so dangerous, it blinds you to your own power. You begin to believe that your value is determined by how you stack up against others, when in reality, your value is inherent. It exists regardless of who's ahead or behind. A diamond does not lose its worth just because another diamond shines nearby. And you do not lose your worth just because someone else is shining in their own space. Growth does not come from trying to outrun others. It comes from pushing past your own limitations. One decision, one action, one day at a time. The greatest breakthroughs in life happen not when you ask, how can I beat them? But when you ask, how can I become better than I was yesterday? That simple shift in mindset transforms comparison into fuel. And here's the beauty of it. When you stop competing with others and start competing with yourself, you create limitless potential. There's no finish line, no ceiling, no barrier, because the journey of becoming your best self never ends. Every time you grow, you discover new possibilities. Every time you stretch beyond your comfort zone, you reveal new strength. That is the path of unstoppable growth. But let me be clear, choosing not to compare doesn't mean ignoring others' success. It means reframing it. Instead of letting their achievements make you feel small, let them show you what's possible. Instead of letting their speed discourage you, let it remind you that persistence pays off. Their journey is proof that greatness can be achieved. And if it can be done once, it can be done again. So when comparison whispers in your ear, silence it with this thought: I am not here to be better than anyone else. I am here to be better than I was yesterday. Make that your daily mission. Compete with your former self. Outthink, outwork, outgrow the person you were last week. And soon, the person you become will astonish even you. Comparison breeds limitation. Self-competition breeds greatness. The choice is yours. Will you live under the weight of someone else's shadow, or will you rise into the light of your own potential? One of the most subtle yet destructive emotions that holds people back is envy. It creeps into the heart quietly. A glance at someone else's success, a thought about their achievements, a whisper that says, why them and not me? If left unchecked, that whisper grows louder, turning into resentment, bitterness, and even self-doubt. And yet, within that same emotion lies a hidden opportunity, a doorway not to defeat, but to inspiration. The truth is this: envy is not a signal of weakness. It is a signal of desire. It reveals something powerful about your inner world. It tells you what matters deeply to you. If you feel envy toward someone's success, it's often because some part of you recognizes that you, too, are capable of achieving something great. The problem isn't the feeling itself. The problem is what you do with it. Most people allow envy to drain them. They see someone doing well and use that as evidence of their own inadequacy. They allow resentment to build, convincing themselves that life is unfair, that success is only for the lucky few. And in doing so, they rob themselves of energy that could have been used to build their own path. But the truly wise do something different. They convert envy into fuel. When you see someone ahead of you, don't say, I'll never be like them. Instead, say, what can I learn from them? Study their habits. Observe their mindset. Notice the sacrifices they made and the discipline they practiced. Use their success not as a mirror of what you're lacking, but as a map of what's possible. That is how you turn envy, a negative force, into inspiration, a powerful catalyst. Understand this deep-light success leaves clues. No great achievement happens by accident. Behind every person you admire is a pattern, a set of choices, beliefs, and actions that led them to where they are. And if you have the courage to study those patterns and apply them in your own way, you will begin to rise too. The point is not to copy them, but to learn from them and adapt those lessons to your unique journey. There's another reason why transforming envy into inspiration is vital. Envy looks outward, but inspiration turns inward. Envy says, if they have something I don't. Inspiration says, if they can, so can I. One drains your power, the other multiplies it. One builds walls, the other opens doors. And the choice between the two is entirely yours. Consider this: every person you envy was once where you are now, unsure, unseen, unproven. They too had doubts. They too faced failures. What separates them from those who remain stuck is not superior talent or luck, but a decision to learn, to act, and to persist. And that same decision is available to you right now. The next time envy arises in your heart, pause and look deeper. Ask yourself, what is this feeling telling me about what I truly desire? What step can I take today to move closer to that desire? Then channel that emotion into focused action. Build the skill. Practice the discipline. Take the risk. Bit by bit, you will transform the energy that once held you back into the very force that propels you forward. And here's a powerful truth: the people you envy today may one day look to you for inspiration. That's how growth works. The student becomes the example, but that transformation begins only when you stop resenting success and start learning from it. So turn envy into your teacher. Let it guide you, not discourage you. Let it sharpen your vision, not cloud it, and let it remind you every time it appears that greatness is not reserved for them. It is available to you, if only you have the courage to reach for it. In a world obsessed with trophies, titles, and applause, it is easy to believe that success is something measured by the eyes of others. We are taught from a young age to look outward, at grades, salaries, followers, or recognition, as if the verdict on our worth is written somewhere outside ourselves. But the truth is far more profound. The only scoreboard that truly matters is the one within you. Your inner scoreboard is the measure of your own growth, your own progress, and your own alignment with purpose. It does not care how you compare to anyone else. It does not reward you for being louder, faster, or richer. It measures only one thing: are you becoming better than you were yesterday? When you focus on external scoreboards, the opinions of others, the numbers they chase, the accolades they collect, you hand over your power. Suddenly, your happiness rises and falls with the judgment of people who may not even know you. Your confidence becomes fragile because it is built on shifting sands. But when you focus on your inner scoreboard, your foundation becomes unshakable. You no longer need permission to feel worthy. You no longer seek validation to know you are on the right path. Your growth becomes your proof. The inner scoreboard asks different questions than the outer one. It does not ask, did I win? It asks, did I grow? It does not ask, did they notice? It asks, did I give my best? It does not ask, am I ahead of them? It asks, am I ahead of who I was yesterday? Those are the questions that build champions. Not champions of competition, but champions of character. And here's the remarkable truth: when you commit to winning on your inner scoreboard, the outer victories begin to follow naturally. Growth leads to mastery, mastery leads to results, and results lead to recognition. But now the applause is a byproduct, not the goal. Your motivation is internal, so it cannot be shaken by rejection or silence. Think of the greatest builders, thinkers, and achievers in history. Their journeys were not defined by chasing others. They were defined by relentless self-improvement. Day after day, they asked themselves, how can I improve this craft? How can I refine this idea? How can I become a little stronger, wiser, more disciplined than I was yesterday? This is the mindset that turns ordinary people into extraordinary ones. Focusing on your inner scoreboard also shields you from one of the most common traps: discouragement. When you compare yourself to others, it's easy to feel like you're not moving fast enough. But when you measure yourself against who you used to be, you begin to see how far you've already come. That progress, even if it's small, fuels you to keep going. A single step forward may not seem like much, but when measured against your past self, it is evidence of victory. And remember, the inner scoreboard is not about perfection. It's about progress. You will stumble. You will fall. You will have days where the results don't reflect your effort. But if you can say, I showed up, I tried, I grew, then you are winning. Because every step forward, no matter how small, compounds into unstoppable momentum. So I challenge you each night, before you close your eyes, ask yourself not how you compare to others, but how you compare to who you were yesterday. Did you learn something new? Did you show more discipline? Did you act with more courage? If the answer is yes, then you are succeeding, even if the world hasn't noticed yet. In the end, the most fulfilling victories are not the ones the world applauds, but the ones only you can see, the quiet moments of growth, the private battles you've overcome, the silent steps you've taken toward becoming your best self. That is the power of living by your inner scoreboard. And when you master that, you stop chasing success. You start becoming it. There is a truth so powerful, yet so often forgotten. No one can compete with authenticity. You may try to imitate another person's path, replicate their style, or chase their success, but imitation can never create the same impact as originality. The world already has them. What it needs, what it desperately waits for, is you. Authenticity is not about perfection, and it is not about fitting into a mold. It is about uncovering the gifts, strengths, and voice that are uniquely yours, then using them without fear or apology. When you operate from authenticity, you step into a place where comparison loses its grip. Why? Because you realize that no one else has your combination of experiences, dreams, and vision. You become incomparable. The tragedy is that most people bury their authenticity. They hide it under layers of doubt, conformity, or fear of judgment. They say, if I act like them, maybe I'll be accepted. If I speak like them, maybe I'll be admired. If I follow their path, maybe I'll succeed. But here's the problem. When you abandon authenticity, you abandon power. You become a copy in a world that only rewards originals. Think of the greatest leaders, thinkers, and creators history has ever known. Their power did not come from being like others. It came from being utterly themselves. They walked their own path, even when the world laughed, doubted, or resisted. And because of that, they changed the course of history. Their authenticity became their advantage, a force no competitor could replicate. You have the same opportunity. Your authenticity is your greatest weapon, your most valuable asset, your undeniable edge. The way you see the world, the way you solve problems, the way you express ideas, all of it is uniquely yours. And when you lean into that, you step into a category where there is no competition, because no one else can beat you at being you. Of course, authenticity requires courage. It means standing tall when others want you to conform. It means trusting your vision when the crowd doubts it. It means saying, this is who I am, this is what I believe, and this is the path I will walk. That is not easy, but it is worth it. Because when you live authentically, you may not please everyone, but you will attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the right destiny. And here is the most liberating truth of all: authenticity is sustainable. Imitation is exhausting. When you try to play someone else's role, you are constantly performing, constantly adjusting, constantly pretending. But when you live authentically, life becomes lighter. Your actions align with your values. Your goals align with your heart. Your steps align with your purpose. That alignment creates energy, passion, and persistence that no competitor can match. So the next time you feel tempted to compare yourself to someone else, remind yourself their power comes from being them. Your power will come from being you. There is no contest, no rivalry, no race, because authenticity puts you in a league of your own. The world does not need another imitation. It needs your voice, your vision, your courage. And the moment you embrace that, you become unstoppable. Not because you are trying to outshine others, but because you are shining in a way only you can. Remember this always: when you live authentically, you eliminate competition, because there is no competition for what only you were created to do. My friends, we live in a world that constantly tempts us to look outward. to measure ourselves against others, to chase what they have, to walk the path they built. But the truth is simple and profound. Your purpose was never meant to be a copy of someone else's. You are not here to outshine them. You are here to become you. Comparison is a trap that steals your peace, your focus, and your power. It blinds you to the miracles happening within your own journey. But the moment you shift your gaze inward, the moment you focus on your growth, your path, and your authenticity, you step into a realm where no one can compete with you. Because in that realm, there is no competition. There is only progress. Remember the 5 truths we have spoken about today. Your journey is uniquely yours. No one else's timeline can define it. Comparison breeds limitation, but self-competition unlocks growth. Envy can become inspiration. If you choose to learn instead of resent, your inner scoreboard is what truly matters, because real success is internal. No one can compete with authenticity, and that is your greatest strength. Each of these truths leads to one final principle. You are enough, right now, as you are. And you are capable of becoming even more. Not because you have to be better than anyone else, but because you owe it to yourself to become the best version of you. So stop measuring your worth by someone else's success. Stop doubting your progress because of another's pace. Stop dimming your light because someone else's seems brighter. Their path is theirs. Yours is waiting for you to walk it. Boldly, faithfully, unapologetically. From this day forward, let your only competition be the person you were yesterday. Let your only goal be to grow, to evolve, to rise. And as you do, you'll discover something extraordinary. The need to compare will vanish, replaced by a quiet, unshakable confidence that you are on your way. You were not born to follow footsteps. You were born to leave them. So walk your path with pride. Trust your pace. Honor your journey. And never, ever forget this timeless truth. There is no one to compare yourself to, because there is no one like you.